Ladies and gentlemen, Candace seems to have a problem with Black people on the left and the right, even people on the same side that Candace Owens is on. Those Black folks don't like her either. Mm-mm-mm. What a dilemma. But see, this is the price you pay when you insult your people for money, Candace. So this came out in the Salon March 28th, 2021. Candace Owens under attack. Pro-Trump Black conservatives go to war against each other. Now, if you remember, towards the end of the Trump administration, Candace was not getting invited to the White House. Many of those Black pastors and conservatives talked Trump out of inviting her to all of those events they were having, and she was not invited. So, in a strange and isolated realm of MAGA loving Black activists, at least two groups are at war with one another, and insults are flying with no end in sight. Mage Toure, founder of the right wing group called Black Guns Matter, whose legal name is Martin A. Jones, and his allies are at war with a better known Black conservative activist, Candace Owen, and Brandon Tatum. This conflict appeared to have been brewing under the surface for some time, but broke into the public sphere after a panel discussion led by Toure at the Conservative Political Action Conference. And this was in Orlando, down in Florida, last month. The apparent rift between the activists centered around the claims that Owens and Tatum can't relate to the African American communities because their aim, that their rhetoric is almost entirely, whatever they say is aimed towards white conservatives. And you're right. If you're going to aim everything towards what white conservatives want to hear, you're not going to be able to relate to the Black community. Furthermore, activists on Toure's team have framed their argument through a difficult to follow analogy drawn from the classic sitcom Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, perhaps in an effort to ensure that white people don't know what they're talking about. There's not just one type of Black conservative. And I like, this is what he's saying, this is what Toure is saying. And I feel like that's where we have failed over the past 4 years. We propped up one type of Black conservative, panelist and commentator, Shemeka Michelle, stated at a CPAC gathering in late February. And just because white people like them, it was like, oh, yeah, we love her. Oh, she has her own thinking, which she don't. Candace is not saying anything original. If you want to know if Candace is saying anything original, just listen to your average run-of-the-mill races. She's just mouthing the same words. She is not original at all. A lot of people are familiar with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Michelle continued, just saying Carlton Banks and Will Smith were both conservatives. Carlton, go back to Bel-Air, and he could talk to people, in Bel-Air all day long, but you cannot send Carlton to Philly to talk to those people. You would have had to send Will, who had the same type of life experience that Will had. So when it comes to being conservative, stop propping up Carlton Banks, thinking that Carlton is going to be the one to be able to communicate with Will's conservative party. Yeah, you're right about that. Asked by Salon Weather, this analogy could be understood as an attack on Candace Owens. Michelle responded, I wasn't specifically referring to her. She added, however, that Owens comes across to many in the Black community as more of a Rachel Dolezal, a reference to a now notorious white woman who passed as Black for many years. She has some good points, but her messaging does more to make white people comfortable than it does to enlighten the Black community. That's true. As for the Prince analogy, viewers of a certain age may already grasp it. The character, Carlton, struggled to relate to the Black community because he had grown up in the suburbs surrounded by white people. Toure, who sells t shirts promoting anti vaccine rhetoric and calls his fans solutionaries for the reason not easy to understand or explain, expressed frustration on Twitter after his CPAC panel that older Black conservative voices had not retweeting his panel remarks, further asking if they were jealous. One can assume that the shade was directed at Owens and Tatum, whom both have followings encompassing at least 1 million people. Yeah, she got 1 million people, and hardly none of them are buying her book. That says a lot. Y'all so into Candace, but you won't buy her book. No, you're just entertained by her. That's why you won't buy the book. Reacting to the CPAC remarks made by Michelle, Brandon Tatum declared a subsequent YouTube video that was clear enough who her target was. We all know that she was talking about Candace Owens. Tatum, who formerly worked alongside with Owens. So he was with her during her Turning Point USA days. And remember, they kind of got rid of her after her Hitler remark. So now she's with PragerU. That's where Candace is. Continued by saying that another panel speaker, former Republican congressional candidate and AQAnon fan Angela Stanton King, ragged me and ragged Candace Owens for being married to people who aren't Black. Moving down the list of foes, Tatum continued. Mage Toure, I believe, in my personal opinion, have zero credibility as far as I'm concerned. Mage Toure isn't even a real name. I have no respect for this person. Asked by Salon why Owens did not appear at CPAC this year, Communication Director Ian Walters said she had been invited but did not elaborate on whether her absence was related to Toure and his allies. Claims that she doesn't connect to Black America, and she doesn't. She doesn't. If you wanted more Black people in the Conservative Party, Candace would not be able to do the job. You cannot insult people into joining you. And this is what Candace don't get. That's why she keeps falling flat with the Black community. You keep insulting the Black community, but you want them to join you. It doesn't work that way, dear. And this is why your message will always, it will bear no any type of relevancy with the Black community. Okay. We don't always have the same people on our stage every year, Walters told the Salon. In a clip posted on a right-wing YouTube channel on March 3rd, Toure was in a better mood, seen drinking a bootlegger. He said, listen, man, beautiful women are in the DMs every day. I travel the world wherever I feel like. I have no masters, none. My life is awesome. I'm living this freedom, Then his topic shift to Brandon Tatum, who brands himself as Officer Tatum, although he left the police department in Tucson, Arizona in 2017. Makes me wonder, how did he handle the Black public there? Like a typical coon? I don't know. First of all, he's not an officer. He just calls himself that, Toure declared. He's not an officer. He hasn't been an officer for years now. The Salon reached out to Toure by email for comment, but he did not respond directly, instead posting a series of 7 tweets speaking to Tatum's accusation that he doesn't use his real name and calling on a long history of alternative monikers in hip hop, even saying things like Mage Toure isn't his real name to discredit. He wrote, completely ignoring the fact that I was a hip hop artist and the multiple stories of me choosing my name for self after a certain age. Did Hove's mom name him Jay-Z? No, but they skipped that for a story. So there you go. Candace is a problem everywhere, including among her own Black conservative counterparts that she can't relate to them either. That says a lot. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. 3 coons in 1 picture. That is hard on the eyes. Peace, family.